Okay.
Not to even speak of your mouthpiece there. Okay.
Okay, can we get started?
Yep. Like to introduce yourself and your...
My name is Jim Donmoyer. I'm the Executive Director of Lebanon County Commission on Drug and Alcohol Abuse.
David Werner, County Solicitor.
Okay, today I'm here. We are all aware of the opiate epidemic, past as well as present. It continues into the future. I am here today to present to the commissioners and talk about an opiate settlement. First of all, I want to give you some background on it so you're well aware of what I'm talking about. Attorney General Josh Shapiro wants Pennsylvania to enter into this opiate settlement. The settlement is with Johnson & Johnson as the producer of these drugs and 3 pharmaceutical distributors. The total across the country with all states involved, they anticipate over 40 states will be involved in this opiate settlement suit for a total of $26 billion. Pennsylvania, if Pennsylvania participates in this suit, as Josh Shapiro would like us to, Pennsylvania stands to have a $1 billion settlement portion of that $26 billion. Just to break that down a little further, out of the $1 billion, $700 million is going to be distributed across the state to counties and municipalities. $700 million is a lot of money. In order for counties to participate in this, however, and I provide you a packet, and each part of the packet is the steps that I'm going to go over here right now. The first thing we had to do, or the first thing we have to agree to is, as a county, that we won't entertain future lawsuits against these pharmaceutical people, or we cannot have a current lawsuit against them present. So I believe we do not have a current lawsuit against these individuals. I think you can attest to that, and I don't anticipate future lawsuits against these folks. So we give up our rights to sue these folks in the future. The county must register as a political subdivision, which in your packet you'll see that I already did that. We also must complete a participation instruction form to Janssen, who is the producer of the medications. We also must complete a participation instruction packet for the distributors. And finally, the last piece I gave you today is we had to complete a participation form for states, since it's a state. A lot of states are involved, so the communication and cooperation between the states is going to be vital. So we had to sign those documents to be considered to be part of this suit. Basically, the more people that join, the better chance of maximizing the $1 billion for Pennsylvania. So the state Attorney General Shapiro is encouraging counties and municipalities to join this suit. I was, to be honest with you, skeptical in what this would mean for Lebanon County until I received the allocation. You'll see in your packet there's an allocation form that breaks down the $700 million across the state of Pennsylvania to counties and municipalities. Lebanon County stands to receive $4,194,677. Now note, this is over an 18-year period of time, but that roughly comes out to $233,000 a year that will come to the county of Lebanon. I'm not sure of how that will flow to us.
I heard it was in the first 2 years it was front-loaded, that we would get the vast majority.
I don't know the details as far as...
I heard that on a CCAP call.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we got a breakdown by year yet.
Okay.
Just
I'm just saying,
a
a total breakdown
Yeah.
at some point over 18 years, how they front-load it, back-load it, or give it to us. I was hoping to give it to us evenly every year, but if they front-load it, they front-load it. I guess it doesn't matter to me how it comes, as long as it comes. But that's good to know. And the thing is, with this money, is it is designed to fight the epidemic that we're currently in and will be in for quite some time. They provided a list, which is Exhibit E in your packet of information, on areas where this money can be spent. It's solely to be spent on drug and alcohol treatment and prevention services.
Is it fair to say that the list of uses, for the most part, if not entirely, mirrors the types of services you already provide? It just gives the ability to expand them.
That's correct. It gives us the ability to expand the services that we already have in place. And also, we are going to look at the services that we don't have in place that we should. And we're going to try to fill those gaps.
Can you give an example? Is that like childcare or something? I noticed that was in there.
There's a whole bunch of services, childcare, transportation, housing. Commissioner, there's a push in the state for social determinants, for us not to only help with the treatment and prevention of the person, but to provide services for the whole person. So they need transportation, they need education, they need, like you said, childcare, those types of things. So there's a wide variety. I believe the handout exhibit E is like 16, 17 pages. I didn't go over each and every one of them in detail yet, but it's 19 pages
Yeah.
of things that we can do with this money.
Yeah, there's a lot of choices.
So, and the other part of this, commissioners, is that I will not be the person to say, this is what we're gonna do with the money, because it's delegated to my office. It would be a collaboration between myself, our local providers, as well as agencies. Some of this stuff crosses over to, for example, throughout that information where it can be used, it says about SUD, which is substance use disorder, opiate use disorder people, as well as co-occurring. So that tells me it could also be used for folks that have not only drug and alcohol, but they have mental health as well. So I'm going to collaborate with Holly Adams in her office. I'm going to collaborate with all our local providers, and we're going to figure out what we need to use this money on.
Sounds
that
like
would
a
be
good
most
plan.
effective.
Oh,
I mean, I'm sorry. There is a Holly Lade.
Yeah.
You didn't know you had a new director.
And I believe along with those collaborations, this will come as an annual allocation. You will likely have to demonstrate how that's going to be used. So you'll be in here to get approval on the distribution of each year's and you'll be here for the next 18 years doing that, right?
Yeah, we'll start the programs
Yeah.
and so you can finish them.
Before questions, is there anything, Dave, you want to add? I mean, I assume this comes as a recommendation on your part to participate.
Yeah, I mean, this is effectively the equivalent of a class action lawsuit where if we do not enter into an agreement like this, we are potentially at least on an island to do this and litigate this on our own, which I'm sure you're going to hear about some cities or states across the country who are going to pursue that. But from a practical perspective here, it's being recommended by the Attorney General's office, it's being recommended by CCAP, and collectively I would expect probably almost every or potentially every county in Pennsylvania to participate in this. So yes, it would be my recommendation.
Okay. Yes.
I do have one question. When I first heard that municipalities had to also approve, I understand this is for 40 states and Pennsylvania is different than other states.
Mm-hmm.
So, county can't tell the municipalities what to do. And so my question is, what happens if, say, 3 of the municipalities don't sign on? What happens to that money? Does it go back to the state? Does it get reallocated to the counties that have all come on board with their municipalities? Does it go back to a federal? I mean, what happens to that money?
I mean, I can speak, hopefully this is what you're asking. As the political subdivision, we only applied as a county. So for us, the county would be the only one receiving funds for
But we'll only get
Lebanon County.
70% for us, and 15 I think goes to the state, and the other 15 we get if the municipalities all sign on. So we're gonna come up short 15% of that $4 million if they don't all sign on. So what happens to the money if it doesn't happen?
Yeah, it was my understanding we're signing on behalf of the county as the state designated entity who administers drug and alcohol programs, and that there was not going to be a requirement for like a township by township or borough by borough approval process here. I've not seen or heard anything that we're gonna have to go through a process to have every municipality within the county.
Did they change that thing? Because on the last CCAP call, I heard that each municipality would have to sign off.
Yeah, I have not heard or been given that instruction that that's something we'll have to accomplish.
And it's a 15% question, 15% of money we never had, so
Sure.
I'm thinking we're still way ahead, even if there is a downside that they wouldn't all sign on. You know, those are all things that you can't answer today, but
Right.
I might just point out, the 70% you may be referring to or hearing in discussions, I think the 70% is counties, because as you see
Right.
on this distribution, 700 million of the 1 billion is county share.
Yes.
So I don't think our 4.1 million is in jeopardy by anyone's doing or undoing.
Okay, so it's 15% on top of that,
To whom?
that we would be at risk if all the municipalities did not
I
sign on.
think they'd be at risk, or the state might be at risk, but I don't understand that that if we participate, sign on, do this,
we
we're in.
wanna go around again,
We're in
or-
for 4.1, I think.
Yeah. And I would say, if enough if enough counties do not participate, or if enough states do not participate in the overall collective agreement, then we would be removed from this as well. So it does take a cumulative amount to put us kind of over that number. So in the event we enter into this release, but cumulatively there's not enough entities, again, counties and states across the country that enter into it, that the agreement would be void and the litigation would proceed. Again, the expectation, what we're being told by the Attorney General's office, is that's not going to be the case. They're expecting it to be
Sure.
approved, so,
and we're gonna do our part right now.
exactly.
Okay, motion?
I would add, if I may, I'm sorry, Vicki, when you do your motion to participate, as Jim described, he's got a handle on this. There's some pretty tight deadlines. I think everybody has to be in this by the beginning of the year, the first
Yep.
couple of days of the year, or not. And so when you do your motion, I would ask that you include the provision that Jim Donmoyer be able to execute all the participation agreements on behalf of the county. Yeah.
And currently, we
We're
have all of them
registered.
complete.
Yeah.
All the participation forms are completed and
Okay.
the registration.
There may be others to draw it down
As
and
it
so
comes
on.
down.
Right.
I will make a motion to approve Jim Donmoyer to execute agreements on the county's behalf for the opioid settlement with, I call it Johnson & Johnson, you called it something else, but so that we can proceed and be part of the process, and you can just keep us informed as we go.
And Commissioner, can I just ask that you add, and for our participation in the Pennsylvania Opioid Misuse and Addiction Abatement Trust, that's the trust entity they've created.
Duly noted, that's part of the,
Bill, would you second that
Motion.
motion?
Yes, I will. I will second the motion.
Dawn has it, she's still writing, but she's catching up. Any questions regarding the motion, or did you have a question earlier?
I just, the allocation distributions, is that based on population of county or population of people that have opioid addictions?
I think it's a combination. One of the I think it's population is one factor, but I also think it's the overdose rate in counties. That has a factor. There's a lot of factors, but since it is the opiate epidemic and they're trying to address overdose deaths, we've, over the last couple of years, have had high years for overdose deaths.
Okay, anybody else? Not all in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Pose same sign, so ordered. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.